I put the initials of all of the nephews and grandkids, Dusty's grandchildren. I put everyone on my boots for WrestleMania 40. The initials are on the inside of the boot. I genuinely thought in that moment, none of them are going to enter the wrestling space. It wasn't because I didn't think they could. I just thought it ended with me. I mean, finish the story. I thought it ended with me, and then I see how far it's progressing.
Oh, they're gonna wrestle.
Yeah, and how it's advancing.
They're definitely gonna
and
wrestle.
It's not even. It's very exciting. The idea that they're into this and they can do something. And I always tell them the biggest thing for them I want them to know is just make sure you're in love with this.
Yeah.
And I was so glad they went to you. And the reason I was so glad they went to you is not just because of the grittiness, not just because of the education you and TJ are providing, but you have to break out of the road stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I love a Barry Windham match more than anybody, but there's one guy in this room, Ben Brown, who knows who Barry Windham is, maybe two. Right? It's not.
But
it's 2025, and they're talking to me about these Barry tags. I'm like, you need to go somewhere that's completely. Yeah. Stu Hart's going to train very different.
Yeah.
Than Vern Gagne trained. Vern Gagne's going to train very different than Bill Watts trained.
Yeah.
And all that training still has trickled down. Dusty trains the way he was taught by Joe Blanchard, or he did train. Yeah. Dustin trains because Skandar Akbar, we're all products. Yeah. Al Snow got me. I just wanted them to experience something very new, and gritty and hardworking, and a place that really wouldn't. They could have been welcomed there and been warmly received, but they would have known right away if they were. They have cutting it hard. Or not. Exactly.
They had to work hard, and that's the thing about our ring is that's why I hate to say this, but it's invite only. And the reason
Look at that. It's like the Magic Castle.
The reason why is because TJ and I, we want to have it emulate what my grandfather had in the original dungeon.
Yeah.
My grandfather, Stu, he never took $1 from anyone, but he wanted to train with the very best in the world.
Yeah.
And some of the very best pro wrestlers that ever, like Gorilla Monsoon, trained in the dungeon. My grandfather wanted to train with the best, and if he didn't like you and he didn't feel that you respected the industry, he didn't want to take your money because he didn't want to see you again.
Would Stu famous for, would he stretch everybody? Or I always was of the thought that Stu stretched the ones who didn't have it. Or was it everybody?
Everyone.
Okay, everybody was getting stretched.
And that's the thing why my grandfather didn't take money is because he wanted to beat everyone up.
Right, okay, so everybody's getting stretched. The good, the bad.
My dad.
Everybody's getting stretched.
My dad was one of the strongest men in the NFL, and my grandfather was beating him senseless.
Yeah.
Like
you hear stories of people screaming through the vent in the house.
Well, but he wasn't like, he was putting them in submission wrestling holes.
Gotta know it hurts.
And so the thing with TJ and I don't beat anyone up like that in the dungeon, but we want to work with people that have passion. So with Dylan and Dalton, they have passion. They understand that they need work, but you know what I liked about them more than anything?
What?
Etiquette.
Oh,
their etiquette was great. It's like
give me some of the wrestling etiquette.
Yeah, like wrestling etiquette, and just it's life etiquette. It's like
a lot of thank yous.
Like thank you, thank you and appreciation and here's my thing: if you're gonna be 5 minutes late, 30 minutes late, an hour late, 2 hours late, shoot me a text. Let me know.
Oh yeah, I heard. Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, let me know. Hey, I'm gonna miss half the practice, but it's because there was a crazy accident on the highway. Yeah, and I'm always like Dr. Tom used to always talk to us about that. He'd say, "Don't bullshit, don't lie, just tell me what's going on, 100%. And we're good." And so the boys had great etiquette. They were the first ones at practice. They were the last ones to leave, and anything that they were asked to do, even if it was stuff that they weren't really sure that they could do, they still tried it.
Yeah.
And then the next time they came in, everything that we had worked on the day before, they had processed it and did it. So they had really good wrestling etiquette, and they were grateful. And then afterwards, they sent TJ and I this really nice card, and it was just so sweet. They were just so sweet.
Good boys.
But they worked hard. If they didn't work hard, we wouldn't give a shit about the greeting card afterwards. They gotta work hard.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
But we loved having them. So tell them they're welcome back.
I've gone the conversation mainly not talking a lot about TJ because I spent a chunk of time talking about TJ once before on this pod. I think when I was talking to Nikki, and I think TJ just needs to come on the pod because there's so much.
TJ needs to be on this.
For sure. There's so much to talk about, so many funny stories that have happened, but also this unique, like-minded, parallel path in life that led me back to being just in his presence and being around him often, although he's doing his own thing and working. TJ leading the charge, helping develop the women's division, you being the tenured elder statesman. We don't like to use the word elder, but wrestling the statesman of or stateswoman of the locker room. Your power couple ripple through the waves of pro wrestling. Tell me about it.
I mean, it's funny because the older I get, the more I feel, the happier I am. And I used to sometimes like get scared of getting older because I was like, what if people think I'm too old and I just can't do this anymore? The older I get now, the more I feel like I just feel so excited about my career. I feel so excited about where the company's going. I feel so excited about the people that I'm working with. The locker room, like I love the girls in the locker room. Like Bailey, I love being in a locker room with her. There's so many.
Well, you mentioned always wanting to make the girls in the locker room happy.
Yes.
Right?
And I think like it's just that recovering people pleaser thing, but like I understand what I went through when you're trying to put a match together and you're just trying to stand out and you're just trying to like make your mark and you're just like, we all get in our own heads. And so I want to make sure that every girl that I worked with Ivy Nile the other day and she was so.
You worked dark with her.
I did.
Yeah.
And
I saw that on the sheet.
I said to TJ, she's so good. She's so underrated. But I really wanted to make sure that Ivy like got a lot in because I was like, I'm already established, but we need to show the audience who she is.
Yeah.
Also because I'm going to beat her at the end.
There it is.
but she was amazing. But TJ is such a big part of our women's division, and I think that like. I just think, yes, you need to get him on here because he doesn't do a lot of interviews, TJ.
I know, that's why it's special.
He's actually very shy, TJ. When you get to know him and he's comfortable with you, he's a little asshole.
Yeah.
But we'll bleep that out. But he's actually like very introverted. He doesn't open up to everyone. It takes a minute to get. He's like a cat. But the girls, he's such an important part of our women's division because he always finds a way to help every woman shine.
Yeah.
And he sees something in everyone because he was also an underdog for most of his career, so he doesn't want to leave anyone out. He's like, okay, if this is the girl that we're trying to get over right now, the agenda is let's get her over. He's like, how can we get her over but still help this person?
Sure.
And the girls see that and they recognize that and there's a level of trust there.
I do want to thank you for, I could thank you for a million things, but one of them that's pretty special to me is I really appreciate taking care of little Brody.
I love Brody and I love Nolan. And you know, when their dad passed away, I know that you were there during that time and that you have taken on a role for them that is, you know, when you're a little boy growing up and you don't have a dad, I know that like you're a very big part of their life. And it's fun. I see it all the time with Brody because Brody, you're like his North Star. You're his like, you know, it's funny because Brody sent me this text one day and he goes, we train with Brody. And by the way, Brody couldn't just come unless he proved himself.
No, I know.
I said to Brody, I said, you gotta prove yourself.
Yeah.
I can't just let everybody come into our ring unless you show me that, you know, Brody proved himself. He earned his spot. But Brody sent me this text and he goes, Natty, I'm so sorry I can't come to practice today. Cody's surprising us. He's taking us to Disney World.
Oh, yeah.
And
gotta get him out there.
It's like, and then TJ said to me, he goes, Cody's like the busiest guy in the whole company right now. He was, at the time, we were like, I think we were getting ready to go on a European tour or something like that. And he goes, Cody is like the busiest guy in the world, but like he's making time for people in ways. You're showing up for people, especially for Brody. Yeah. You know, losing your dad at 10 years old in such a tragic way where like it was very hard for those kids.
When Big Rig passed away, one of the things that it was nice to see the wrestling community come out, support probably one of the most loved guys in the history of any locker room. What worried me was what happens the next day.
Right.
You know, and the next day after that, and just he found a good spot with you guys. He really
love
did.
him.
Yeah, he's hardworking, and Nolan's such a beautiful kid. They're good. So when I see him there, because I get the clips, and you've sent me the clips, and he's training so hard, and that whatever he's going through, it's special. So I really.
Thank you.
No, thank you, because you've made that a special place. You know,
it's a safe zone.
Yeah,
and I'm really careful with Brody because he's still just a kid. But like I think they're great kids, and we love them. And you know, it's funny because TJ and I we will wrap this up. TJ and I don't really want to have kids at all. We're not. We've kind of made. I took care of my dad. My dad was like my child. My dad was my child. So I've never wanted to have kids, but I see TJ. And TJ and I are fine with that, but the way he is with Nolan, TJ and Nolan are like peas in a pod.
Oh, they're buds?
They're best friends.
Yeah.
They're like the same person. So the way TJ is with Brody and Nolan, it's like, okay, we're not gonna have kids, but Brody and Nolan are gonna be like our like step kids or our surrogate kids.
We made Brody Leilani's godfather, and he asked me the funniest question. He asked me, should he watch The Godfather? I'm so sorry, Little B, if I'm putting you on blast, but I told him no, it's not applicable to it's you don't need to. But yeah, he's
they're just such sweet kids.
Yeah, I said you gotta like come to the christening and a couple things, but I think you don't need to hold meetings and murder anybody or anything like that, or do crime.